The debt ceiling reached, the middle class is truly under fire.
I ain't gonna give in now, I just gotta live this now. I ain't gonna be when I'ma kill this stuff real quick. I'ma go take it to town, cause I gotta be that king in the ring when I'm knocking them out when I'm back with the win. Cause I am just up on the journey, you just know that I'm just going to say.
Warriors, rise. Grand rising. Good evening, warriors all over the world. My name is Coach JB. I am the top health, mindset, crypto, and business coach in the world. Remember, what you believe in your heart, you think in your mind will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do, see, or hear gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. The debt ceiling was reached yesterday. Now, I know people are going to message down below. They're just going to raise the debt ceiling. Think about what we're saying. They're just going to raise the debt ceiling. They're just going to suspend the debt ceiling. If we were doing these things, we would be in trouble. Let's really think about, well, they will just do this. Just because somebody's going to do it doesn't mean it's right. So today I want to share with you guys, and I hope that this channel is giving you a good macro and microeconomic view based on my 8 to 9 hours a day of research, spending over 10 years in banking, going to CBA executive banking school. And the way that my brain works, connecting dots forwards and backwards, helps you understand that this is the greatest time in human history to break your family free from this just over broke paradigm. And what we're going to talk about today is how the US did hit its debt ceiling yesterday, but what is the effect of this? You need to understand what this means for you and your family. If you want support in 2023 and understand how to take advantage in the next year of the biggest collapse in history, make sure you stay till the end of this video. I'm going to break down exactly how we can support you. Okay, so as US hits debt ceiling, here's what this could mean for Social Security and Medicare. So what I'm going to do in today's video is I'm going to break down what could happen to pensions. Okay. Well, let's talk about what's happening with the stock market, crypto market, and all that stuff, right? So we're in what's called a debt bubble, right? This is a cycle. It's a normal cycle. This one's really rough. We have climate change, war narrative, and a socio-geopolitical divide, which all three are happening at once, which is wild. So that means there's going to be a massive switch in our ecosystem, which is Web 2.0 to Web 3.0, industrial to technical. Your world is going to be completely different. Your banks are going to operate different. McDonald's is operating different. They have autonomous stores now. Everything is going to be different. Here's the cool thing about this is that you have the opportunity, just like the 1900s, to invest in these very speculative new technologies. And if you pick a couple of the right companies, holy cow, your whole life could change. Now, the more important thing is once you gain that wealth, if you've never had wealth, you have to understand how the wealthy work or you'll end up poor again. That's what I'm here to do, is to teach people how to rewire their brain in this type of shit right here that our pensions are being played with. I don't have a pension. My parents have a pension. My father does. Our parents are sitting there right now that worked their fucking asses off their whole life for the man or the woman, and they have no clue that this stuff is going on. They don't pay attention to this stuff. This stuff isn't constantly pushed in front of them. There'll be a little article like this, but we focus on Kim Kardashian. We focus on Kanye West. We focus on all the sensationalism going on. And we're so worried about Biden's doing what Trump is doing. Well, here's actually what they're doing. As the U.S. hits the debt ceiling, here's what could mean for Social Security and Medicare. If the debt ceiling negotiations are unsuccessful, and the U.S. could default on its debt, it has to be successful, guys. If we don't raise the debt ceiling, we default. America goes bankrupt. Here's why some worry that it could result in Social Security, Medicare delays, and proposals for cuts to the programs, okay? The clock is ticking for U.S. to avoid default on its debt, and some are sounding the alarm about potential disruptions in Social Security and Medicare. It's the same narrative every single time. We're going to have to raise the debt ceiling, but we have to think about those implications. On January 19th, the U.S. outstanding debt hit its statutory limit. We're over $31 trillion in debt, bigger than most gross domestic product for most countries. The debt limit or debt ceiling is a total amount of money the U.S. can borrow to meet its legal obligations, including Social Security, Medicare benefits, well as military salaries, tax refunds, interest on national debt, and other payments. So basically, we're just paying our interest payments. So we just have to keep raising this debt ceiling. We're already 139% debt to income ratio. Okay, 33% of our debt is outside of the United States. So it's like Russian roulette with your pension. Okay, let's go a little bit further. So U.S. hits its debt limit, setting June deadline as Capitol Hill fights intensifies. Okay, so what does that mean? People are like, oh, what happened? So they basically pushed it to June. Same thing happened last year. They're going to keep doing this over and over again. But at what point does it implode? At what point does the Ponzi scheme collapse? Okay, here's the thing. At the end, I'm going to show you what I think is going to happen. Okay, what I think is going to happen. So if you look at this, this is Janet Yellen. So just to show, this is Janet Yellen, Honorable Janet Yellen. She sent it to the Honorable Kevin McCarthy. Sorry, I wouldn't say. Anyways, Janet Yellen. And it says, I write to keep you appraised of the actions of the Treasury Department is taking in regards to the debt limit. In my letter on January 13th, I noticed the Public Law 1173 increased the statutory debt limit to level of 31 trillion. Is that right? Oh my God. And informed you at the beginning of January 19th that the outstanding debt of the United States was projected to reach a statutory limit. This letter serves to notify you the extraordinary measures begin today. So they had to implement extraordinary measures because of the Civil Service Retirement and Disability Fund. Okay. I'm going to read this to you guys. This stuff is boring, but you have to pay attention to stuff. This is why you're the generational shifter for your family. Your family isn't diving into this stuff. This isn't Bitcoin to 100,000. This isn't XRP to 589. This is the real deal shit that's happening and why the monetary switch is being hit. Why we're moving to distributed ledger technology. Why we're moving to blockchain technology. Okay, the system is imploding. First, I have determined that the reason for the statutory limit, I'll be unable to fully invest the portion of the Civil Service Retirement and Disability Fund not immediately required to pay beneficiaries, and that the debt issuance suspension period will begin Thursday, January 19th through June 5th. My predecessors have declared debt issuance suspension periods under similar circumstances. So basically what she's saying is I can't pay this, so I need to suspend the debt ceiling until June 5th. So basically it just opens up for them to keep borrowing. Okay, the debt ceiling to keep borrowing so they can pay the Civil Service Retirement Disability Fund. So what is the Civil Service Retirement Disability Fund? Okay, so frequently asked questions of the Civil Service Retirement and Disability Fund and Postal Service retiree healthcare benefits. You remember back in the days when you can go to, they used to teach you to go to school, get a good job, get a government job with a pension. That is dead. I'm telling you guys. That is dead. We are moving into a gig-based economy. Web3, you are now the brand. I'm trying to teach as many people as possible this. You can monetize your brand. I am paid to be me because of this new ecosystem works. The whole job market is completely flipping. There is a completely autonomous McDonald's store. There's no employees. You go into a gas station now. You don't need clerks anymore. They have a autonomous little thing going on. You go to most airports, they have autonomous stores in there. They have autonomous cars now. Do you see where we're going? This is not a game. You better start reskilling or understand how to invest these technologies, or you're going to be controlled by it. It's either you're going to own it or you're going to be a consumer of it. That's it. There is no middle ground anymore. Okay, there is no middle ground. The working class is getting pushed down to the working poor. People making $150,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. So the Civil Services Retirement Disability Fund provides defined benefits to retired and disabled federal employees covered by the Civil Services Retirement. So as people are sitting there watching the news and they're trying to figure all this stuff out, this is what's happening. They can't even pay, so they have to borrow for your pension. But let's go a little bit further that we already forgot about, okay? Staggering volume of off-balance sheet dollar debt is partially hidden. The debt held by non-U.S. institutions could exceed 80 trillion, the Bank of International Settlements. Do you remember when I brought this to your guys' attention? There's currently up to 80 trillion in off-the-books debt held by non-U.S. institutions in foreign exchange markets. The debt exceeds the stock of the treasury bills, repossession papers, and commercial papers. I'll explain what this means. The large debt being unrecorded could be bad for policymakers trying to calm down the previous recession. The debt exceeds the combined value of the U.S. Treasury bills, the repos, the commercial payments combined, making it difficult for policymakers to recognize where they may need dollars to combat the future financial crisis. So basically what was happening is the dollar was, pretty normal, and then the dollar skyrocketed, and these guys are trading your pensions back and forth. Okay, so there's pensions, there's all kinds of money caught overseas because the dollar skyrocketed. They got caught in a bad trade. So they're trading your money, they're borrowing money to pay you. They're pissed off about FTX, they're pissed off about Celsius. They're doing the same thing. It's a Ponzi scheme. Credit-based systems can do very, very well if there's good policy and there's no greed. But we don't have good policy and we have tons of greed. So there's only 4 ways that we can fix this system in a bubble. We can either stop spending. Obviously, they can't, right? They can't even pay pensions. Okay. Number 2 is you can take the credit from somebody who has it to somebody who needs it. They're not going to do that. Number 3, you can turn the printing machine back on. I don't think they're going to do that. They're going to keep raising interest rates to cool down inflation. And number four is a debt restructuring. I believe that's what's going to happen. And I'll share with you what I think is going to happen in a bit. Okay. If you think U.S. pensions are safe, just wait. The U.S. economy has been built around low interest rates, just as I talked about. As rates rise, so will the fallout. Okay, so what's happening is everything was built on low interest rates environment for such a long time. The printing machine, they raised the interest rates, they turned off the printing machine. So literally driving us off a cliff. That's why you're seeing the smash of cryptocurrency last year and the regulation of it this year. That's why Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, I'm going to play this video, him talking about the lawsuit. He talks about what's happening with the lawsuit and why it may settle in the beginning of this year. It's because we're ready for regulation. They need the new monetary system. They need liquidity. So after this video, I'm going to share with you how we can help you at the Warrior Academy.
2 years and 2 months in, or 2 years and 1 month.
Well, hopefully you guys can hear me. One thing I want you guys to think about, hopefully you guys could hear that video. Shoot, I don't know if you guys could hear that. One thing I want you guys to think about, let me play that over just in case. Let's start over because I think my microphone is off, okay? Let's do this again.
As I mentioned earlier, we're now 2 years and 2 months in, or 2 years and 1 month into the lawsuit. SEC filed suit against us saying that our sales of XRP represented sales of unregistered securities. And, from the beginning, I thought it was very clear that the facts were on our side and the law was on our side. And I think as you have seen this play out and you've seen the filings in the court, that, the judge certainly is hearing our arguments. There's been, I think, the SEC's behavior, and some of it has been, I don't know, I would say embarrassing as a U.S. citizen. That just some of the things you've seen happen, you're like, you've got to be kidding. But look, it's now fully filed and fully briefed in front of the judge in the second district, and we expect a decision from the judge certainly in 2023. But you don't really have any control over when a judge makes their decisions, and I'm optimistic that sometime in the coming single-digit number of months we'll have closure there. To your question about settlement, I mean, the problem here is
okay. So he talked about the single-digit months we should have closure.
Is the SEC, in particular Gary Gensler, has articulated a view that all crypto is a security. The only way that Ripple would settle, and I've said this at the very beginning, the only way we would settle is if there's clarity that XRP is not a security on a go-forward basis. if there's, I mean, so you have this conundrum where the SEC is saying all crypto is a security. We're saying there's only a settlement if we can say XRP is not a security on a go-forward basis. So the Venn diagram for settlement is, I think, zero. So I think we're going to end up letting the judge decide, and I'm very optimistic. And I think people here in this audience know, and here at Davos know, this case is very important to crypto, not just for Ripple. It's for the whole industry.
Okay, so I'll leave it right there. My apologies if the mic was messed up. But I've been sharing that from the beginning when I was sitting in my hotel room in quarantine in 2020, and people said, "What are you doing, Coach JB? What are you doing when XRP is locked down?" Now with Jay Clayton, when he announced the case against Ripple, I said, "I'm holding on like a tick on a dog." I said, "This is all about regulation. I understand banking. The reason why it's held on for this long and why it probably will settle in 2023, that's his words, not mine, is because last year it didn't settle. This stuff is all planned out. Last year it didn't settle because they knew all these collapses. Celsius collapse, stablecoin collapse, FTX collapse. That's to show that the crypto market needs regulation." Okay. It's exactly what happened. And then this year, now all the countries are starting to regulate it. The regulation framework's coming out. We hit our debt ceiling. We're screwed. We keep hitting our debt ceiling, but we're screwed financially. We need on-demand liquidity. We need money to move at the speed of light. We need velocity of money, okay? Remember, they're going to have to either restructure the debt, turn on the printing machine. They have to get money moving really fast. So basically, that stuff is probably pretty confusing, right? And a lot of people, I would get thousands of questions today. That's why I created the Warrior Academy. So I want to share with you guys all of 2023. We're doing 7 days for free in 2023. 66, so it's dropped down to 66% because of the volume, but 66% of people stay after the 7 days. That should tell you something. In our Warrior Academy, when you go in, okay, description in the video down below. When you go in, go right into my 120 challenge. Don't go anywhere else. It's like the tree of life. It will take you through exactly how I reprogram my subconscious mind, health, mindset. Then if you see down here, everything, crypto, mindset, health, business, day trading, Airbnb. We have an affiliates program. We have Airbnb courses. You have my private coaching program, which you can apply for down below. We have everything you need to be successful. And most of all, the robust community of like-minded individuals. That is the key. And that's why people stay in our academy, is the actual community. And then our events, we have 7 live calls per week. So you are truly missing out if you haven't jumped into the Warrior Academy. 7 days for free in 2023. We're working to help as many people as possible get their shit together. That's what we're working to do, fam. It's so important right now. Now, if you want to coach with me privately, it doesn't hurt to fill out an application. It will qualify you for the application. I'm taking 20 people, okay, very intimate group under my wing for 4 months. As many will rotate through every 120 days, 4 months. You go under my wing for 4 months, all the way through. Okay. Only apply for that if you're very, very serious and you're willing to invest in yourself. If you're not ready for a good financial investment to really move your life forward, then go into the Warrior Academy, learn the skills, build yourself up. Okay. Get in our community. So one of my team members will reach out to you. If you're not qualified to coach with me privately right now, we'll call you and find out what we can do to support you. This is so important. I'm going to keep bringing it up because we've helped 5,000 people, and I haven't really talked that much about it because it's organically was happening. But now it's time to speak my truth and get in front of as many people as possible to help as many people as possible. So everything you need is a description down below, and I expect to see you on the inside. Warriors, rise, get your shit together. Love you guys.